Welcome back to Cryptolytics, giving you a fresh take on crypto analytics. Today, I'm going to give a general market update, check out a few charts for Bitcoin, and cover the elephant in the room. Yes, that's right, meme coins. And the Solana equivalent of SHIB. Maybe not as good as SHIB or has as much utility as SHIB, but we're just going to have a look and see what the Solana ecosystem equivalent is. So if you want to participate in this meme coin rally, then perhaps here is an option for you on something that hasn't actually run yet. So let's get into the video. Crazy chart. This is the Hyblock Capital Chart. I shared this on my Twitter, basically. But one thing I really like to use this for is looking for trend reversals and looking to see what the top traders are doing at any given time. I suppose like using the top traders average leverage used. It's a pretty interesting way to look at the market because, for example, as soon as I saw that, you know, this has got a fear and greed index here, then this is the whale versus retail delta, and this information is collected from OKX. What I really like about this, and I shared this on my Twitter, but you can have a look here, and this actually picks reversals like tops, essentially. And I guess before I get into the weeds on this particular chart and indicator set, is that this particular set of tools is all free with Hyblock. However, they do have some paid products as well, like it shows liquidation levels and a bunch of other really handy things, but they do supply some stuff for free as well, which is really, really cool. You can only have 5 of their indicators on at any one time, so with the free version, so basically you are limited, but it's pretty good at giving a little bit more clarity in the market because, for example, whenever we come out to so in terms of the whale and retail delta, you can have a look at that. If you took action the day after the green comes back down into the red, so here, for example, one candle there, that candle there, and that candle there, we have a look and we zoom into where those were. This was at the market top here. That was a market top. It kind of go back up a little bit. It didn't actually go up, it went down, but it's like, I think people were trying to long this move to the downside, and then basically this would have been another point to get out essentially, and then we had this big dump, and then basically we had this big pump back up. So like, how could you actually trade this? I guess in this case you could probably long the trend line, this trend line that's been going on for quite a while, and then take profit at the top there. At the end of the day, it'd be up to you to figure out what you would want to do with this, but it's pretty cool, at least for picking tops. And you can see here as well, it was pretty good. So as soon as we came into the red, this would have been when to take action, so on and so forth. There's a bit more resolution if you zoom in a bit more. There's a lot more signals, so there's a lot more places where things can kind of go wrong, I guess. But if you see this long period of green, for example here, then as soon as it comes down into the red, I don't know, maybe if you want you could short. Probably a bit more risky, but yeah, say if you did that down to this trend line, it's 4%, I guess. If you tried to do that here, put your stop loss there, well, you would have been stopped out right there. But if you tried to do it again here, down to the trend line, well, it didn't quite get down there, but there's another 4%, minus the stop loss or the stop out, which this candle was the one where you took action, you know, minus 0.73%, for example. Now, one thing I like about these guys is they've put in the fear and greed index. So for me, when I look at the fear and greed index and I see that this is starting to go yellow again, it means that we're entering more greed. And as we know, during a bear market, especially down where we are now, when things are getting greedy, then it's a pretty good chance that the market's a bit overheated. So if I look, this is obviously the current Bitcoin price. So if we go to back to the daily, I've just put a line here from this wick down here, which was the last kind of capitulation to the downside. So we can see Bitcoin is actually pretty much kissing that level, and you can see it just keeps rejecting it gets close to it and it rejects. We have rejection there. There's a bit of a rejection there. We're not really getting much love at the moment to the upside, and as you can see right now with this is the top traders average leverage used. So top traders as in the top traders, I believe it's Binance data, but at least, or maybe it's OKX data, but it's the top performing traders on their platform. So I guess if you want to see what these big whales or these highly successful traders are doing, it's kind of interesting to see. And you can see that the short side leverage has pulled pretty far away from the long side. And see, when this sort of thing happens, have a look here, we had to move back down to this trend line. Longs were in control here, and then we had a pretty big breakaway here, and then we subsequently went down there, so on and so forth. I mean, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination and what indicator is, but it's kind of interesting to see. So for example, you could see right here, bulls were firmly in control, and then I guess it was just kind of sideways really right here. This is just a classic Bitcoin sideways move, but and keep in mind this is on the daily at the moment, and then we had that green flip to red, and then we went straight down. So here green flipped to red. Maybe you took a short there, but then you might not have been stopped out actually, because if you put your stop loss there, then keep going, I suppose. This is just one thing you can do with this. I think these are very long-term trades, like very long swings. I guess a medium to long-term swings, I guess. In terms of picking bottoms, I'm not really sure that it can. I mean, what you could do is, I guess, wait for a big spike to the downside and then it pulling back in. So in this case, there's a big spike down here, and then it pulled back in. That would be, I guess, the bottom there, and then it went back up, and there was your top. So if you did that, so candle close to candle close from one side to the other, for example, 12% is pretty nice. Probably spot you would do on this because you're talking pretty big swings. So again, the percentages aren't great, but as in compared to some of the other things you can do in altcoins or even leverage. But I guess if you just put your stop loss at the range low, that would be one way to do it. So yeah, it picked up, and then if it did go against you for whatever reason, then it's a 3%, 2.89% loss. So what would that actually be? Let's have a look. So for example, here, just pulls back in. There's your stop loss there, and then the trade close would be the close in the red. So that's 2.3 to 1 risk to reward ratio. Is pretty good actually. It's pretty good. And another one would be here, but then yeah, if you put your stop loss, well, where would you have put it? No, right, this was the candle. So at the candle close here, because it went down, it's big spike to the downside, then it pulled back in, candle closed there. I would have been sweating if I took this, but you might have actually been stopped out there depending on where you put your stop loss. Because let's have a look. Maybe you put it to the bottom of the range here or there, you would have been stopped out there. And it was sucked. That's kind of what makes this tricky, is trying to work out your risk as well. Like how much risk you want to, or are you willing to take for any of these trades, especially because, this stuff can kind of go wrong with this. For example, here, you had this big spike to the downside, and then here, I mean, that means you're too far away, I would say. Probably not worth taking this trade, I would say, because the risk is just too high. Because where would you put your stop loss? Like down here. I mean, it never hit it, but, and then where do you take profit? There. So you made 0.83%. Anyway, that's kind of something interesting that I found with this. This is on the daily. So again, these are swing trades here. Top traders are right now, sellers are in control. So in terms of just like what's going on with the market, pretty big chance we're going to at least have a small continued move to the downside. There are a number of other metrics as well in terms of order flow, kind of show that the buyers are losing strength at the moment. But yeah, I kind of found it interesting that we just flashed to greed for just one day, and then we immediately came back down. Because I was first looking at this yesterday, actually posted a tweet about it, thinking that maybe we would keep going a little bit, but right now we're hitting a resistance point. So how far can we really go right now? If we consolidate part for a little longer, maybe we get another chance to take another run up to this level here, which right now is about 25.53, and I'll show another chart in a sec, which just shows that, you know, maybe we can keep going, but we might just need to consolidate here for a bit for confidence to go back up. But if we have a look here, what happened the last time we went greed in the bear run after I guess a decent period of sideways or consolidation, or, you know, what looked like a recovery. So we had this and then this and then this, that, like, these are higher high, higher low, so on and so forth. So this looks a lot nicer, the structure of that, than this. This looks a bit crazy. But last time this kind of happened, and what are we looking at here? 66 days. Well, this has been going on for a lot longer than that. Oh no, not quite. 59. We're neck and neck. So have a look here what happened the last time. So we came up. It's kind of good that we've come down in terms of the greed, because, you know, as you can see here, we went to 56 on the fear and greed index, and this was pretty overheated for a bear market. So we got up here, things got really greedy, and then we had this dip down, right? So fear set in. Well, it's not really fear, like, it's still greed. 52 is still greed, but nowhere near as greedy, I guess. And then the whale versus retail delta dropped down into the red. That probably was a good sign to start either taking profits on your BTC, or maybe opening a short if you so felt the need or wanted to. I guess we would put the stop loss at the top of the range in this case. So what was the candle? What did the candle look like? Just this. I'm surprised this actually picked up like this. I guess because this is getting this from on-chain and order flow metrics. So, you know, you could see that the leverage for the short side was picking up, and leverage for the longs were coming down a little bit. So we have a flip. We have greed sort of becoming less greedy, I suppose, and then shorts are becoming, like, leverage for top traders is becoming more short orientated, or down to betting that the price will move to the downside. And if you saw this confluence, this lineup of these indicators, and again, if you do get a Hyblock, again, it's free, so I mean, why not give it a look? You got all of these different things. There's order book, there's bid-ask ratios, there's sentiment analysis, which is pretty cool. You got long and short ratios, so to see, like, top traders long and short. It's not aggregated, unfortunately. If you want aggregated long-short ratios, you need to use something like TRDR, which does not have a free version at all. It's quite expensive. So, but you can check that out. That's a really good one. I used to use that a fair bit, but not so much anymore. You've got liquidation levels, this is all paid for, unfortunately, but this will show you where certain liquidation levels are on the chart. For example, using like a heat map. So you can see, this is just for BitMEX though, but you can see where traders will most likely have their liquidation points. So for example, anyone who's using 25x, 50x, 100x on the long or the short side, often price will gravitate and hunt those liquidity zones, and bots and big traders have access to this information, so they can see where the liquidity zones are, so they can get their orders filled, large orders filled. And this is one thing that they use to work out where those sort of large points of liquidity are, those big pockets, is liquidation levels. So unfortunately that's paid for indicator, but that's definitely something that's there. There's a bunch of other stuff as well. Open interest, which is pretty good, which I prefer to use Coinalyze for this sort of stuff, but yeah, they have this as well, so on and so forth. We won't go into too much of the details here on this, but yeah, that's worth checking out, to be honest. At least for me, at least the fear and greed index and the whale versus retail delta, and also the top traders average leverage used. So what I'm looking at the moment is actually overlaid with a bar pattern, the 2018 bear market sort of bottom, to kind of see if we have hit a bottom, what we could be doing if we did the exact same thing, which is probably not likely. This is very highly improbable that we'll do the exact same thing, and we already have deviated from it. So I took from this big big candle to the downside. This is the weekly chart. And as you can see here, basically I've just overlaid it from here, and we did get down to the same kind of levels. Didn't quite get down as far, unless you kind of pulled this up. Then we got pretty much to the same level. Let's have a look here to here. Yeah, I mean that looks pretty close. There down to here, that's like the top of this candle, then down to the bottom here, which was the 17.5 level. Okay, so in 2018 what we did is we had that very fast relief rally back up. So this white line is the ghost bar pattern, and we shot down pretty fast. I guess you could even go from here if you wanted to, but we didn't get down that far, but those were different times. But just to get a general idea as to how long it took us to recover and what took us to the next bull market, essentially, was we had a relief rally back down, back into consolidation, or this is the accumulation zone really, and then we started to go back up. We went to the median line, this is the logarithmic regression band, or the log growth curve. Back to the median line, then back down again. That was the pandemic crash, so I don't know if we'll get that again. I think we might get this, but maybe compressed. I'm not really sure, because what might happen is we might get this relief rally back up to the 21-week SMA, or 20-week EMA. This is the bull market support band, basically. And yeah, as you can see, we're rapidly approaching it. Right now it's at 28k, so that's another 12% from where we are now. And then maybe we just get rejected from that and come back down here. Not really sure what'll happen, but this is what happened in 2018, where we basically we tracked sideways into 2019. Then we went up, tested some of these high upper levels. So what would that look like price wise? Well, that would be revisiting this level here, 45k. But the problem is we have a lot of other stuff, like a lot of recession woes and everything like that. But with the kind of inflation coming down more recently, then maybe inflation has peaked, but we won't know for a couple of months at least, or at least for a quarter, I reckon, if inflation's peaked. But I keep showing Trueflation, and I've showed it many times before, but I believe that inflation, at least in the US, has most likely peaked, as it did 2 months ago, according to Trueflation. And that's not saying the same for other countries. So UK's is crazy. I think they're like 14% on Trueflation at the moment. So anyway, back to it. So we went up to the median line, back down to the bottom of the regression band, and then we went into the halving, where we basically tore back past the median line and went to the top of the band. Well, we shot past, I guess, in this case. I'm not saying we're getting to 350k in the next market cycle. It'd be pretty cool if we did, but at least this is the overlay with 2018. And just covering this. So I made that video around 20k about the Pi cycle bottom. It's looking pretty nice so far. I basically got most of my BTC back that I sold. That looked like that went pretty well so far, but we don't know what's going to happen going forward. We've just made it outside of this accumulation band that I've put in the chart that's been in here for quite a while. But yeah, we could very easily head up to the bull market support band, maybe get a little bit past it, maybe not hold it as support, and then come back down. I mean, this is Bartcoin after all, so we might just get a classic Bart Simpson pattern, essentially. And yeah, like this. Bartcoin. Bitcoin's full of Bart Simpson patterns, essentially. But yeah, we just might get something like this, essentially, where we kind of come up, fail to hold it, and then come back down. So yeah, we don't really know what's going to happen, but that's definitely a possibility. So what do I think we're going to do in the short term? I guess in my honest opinion, I feel like we're going to come down a little bit from where we are, because I feel like things are a bit overheated, but I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. All I can do is give you an educated guess. But to look at the price here, oh, look at this big jump. Looks like BitMEX chart gets really gappy, but this looks like it's still coming down. The well-versed retail, it looks like it's still trending downwards, and it looks like the leverage is very biased towards the short side in terms of the top traders. So I guess we'll see who prevails. I guess it is Sunday in the US, at the moment. Right now we're in the Asian session on a Monday, so I would say right now it's just the Asian market that's moving this, and Asian market is kind of chaotic. It's a lot of bears, a lot of bulls, and often there's just a lot of consolidation. Things kind of just track sideways during this sort of time, so yeah, remains to be seen what happens, but yes, things are very, very short right now. So, elephant in the room, it seems like for some reason, and I don't usually talk about stuff like this, but I figure, hey, why not? For some reason, in the last 24 hours, Shiba Inu has gone absolutely bonkers. It's put in 36.8% gains over the last 24 hours, which is pretty crazy. And it's still gone up a little bit in the last hour as well, which is nuts. But not all of the meme coins have gone up, which I think is kind of interesting. We are getting a little overheated, and I guess the fact that we printed a little bit of greed on this Hyblock chart tells me that, hey, this is usually when meme coins tend to do well, right? When things start getting more greedy, that's when your meme coins do pretty well. So maybe we can use this to our advantage as well. But again, we are... You know, you want to log into resistance, it's probably a little bit risky, but meme coins don't exactly follow what Bitcoin does. Like, a lot of time meme coins just do their own thing. And I have to admit that I have been in on a few meme coins before. So one was Hoge and another was SafeMoon, and probably a few others as well, actually. Another one I'm in on, and it's called Samoyed coin. This is Solana ecosystems version of Doge, I guess, because it doesn't really have much of a use case, to be honest. I wouldn't compare it to Sheeb, because Sheeb at least has like games coming out. They have their own blockchain, they've got their own DeFi and stuff like that. Whereas this is just literally a meme coin. Like, it doesn't have anything else. It's got NFTs. I mean, Solana blockchain, I guess you kind of need NFTs, right? But yeah, there's Samoyed NFTs on Magic Eden. Let's see. The floor is 4.16 Sol. That's pretty good. That's kind of impressive, actually. Look at this, 70 Sol for this one. That's crazy. Oh my goodness, 2,000 Sol for this. So, I mean, I don't know if buying the coin is like, is worth it. Not as worth it as the NFTs by the look of things. And again, it's Solana, so, you know, Solana's massive into NFTs. This mint already took place quite a while ago. I saw when the mint was taking place. I didn't get in on the mint. I haven't got too many NFTs. I've only got 4, admittedly. My favorite one is one that's not worth anything, and that's my Katana NFT, which, if anyone knows Katana, that is a structured options product on Solana, and it just means that I can get in early on certain vaults. But to be honest, it would be better to have the Friction OG right now, because Friction's been doing a lot better than Katana, which was the OG structured options product. But anyway, so back to this Samoyed coin. Keep derailing myself. So let's have a quick look at this is all the categories on CoinGecko, which is pretty handy. So you can look at, you know, how well a stablecoin's doing. Well, they've done 0.4% in the last 24 hours. Never mind. So, you know, you can have a look and see each basket generally how well it's doing, essentially. And you have a look at the meme coins in general have, you know, they've gone up about 15% on average in the last 24 hours. So if we go into the meme coins, let's have a look here what the top dogs are. And yeah, I say top dogs, and that's probably because they all are dogs. There's probably a couple of cats in here. Who knows what else. So we got Doge, Sheeb, Baby Dogecoin, which I think I've owned I think I've owned all of these except for Dogecoin. For some reason I never bought it at one stage or another. And I don't, again, I'm a DJ, and like it was when things were just going mental last year. I could own some of these. I did sell most of them. I've still got Sheep, actually. I think I've still got some Dogelon Mars on Polygon. I can't even see that. Oh, there it is. Oh, well, it's pretty high up still. Anyway, so yeah, there's this Baby Doge and all that stuff, and I don't really like meme coins that much. Like, they're kind of okay, don't get me wrong, but they're just, what's the utility? I guess I'm very utility driven, but at the same time, if there's like crazy gains to be had, and they're not safe gains, it's pretty much like spinning the roulette table with this stuff, because it doesn't really follow technical analysis. It just pumps like crazy out of nowhere, almost, and then just dumps like crazy for ages. And it's just like typical. This is what a typical meme coin chart looks like, essentially. So let's just go. You know, do I throw Samo under the bus here? Yeah, I'll just pick Hoj. So here is what a typical meme coin chart looks like. I think I still hold some of this. I'm not really sure. Yep. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Doesn't usually do that, but a lot of the time this is what a meme coin looks like. Massive pump, another attempt to a pump, not quite as high, and then kind of like down only for ages. This actually surprisingly went back up quite high, but usually it looks like this. It's released here, little pump here, huge pump up to the upside, and then just down only for just kind of forever. And the thing is, a lot of them have these like little like token distributions and you know, burning and all sorts of stuff. But you know, it doesn't matter like if you're holding onto a token that burns, if it's doing this for price, because or even you get like reflections or whatever. You know, you're getting reflections on a token that's massively losing value, so a lot of the time it's not worth it. But again, I just thought I would mention this, I guess, because it's kind of important, and I'm not recommending anyone buy these at all. But I just decided, hey, let's look at the top meme coin on the Solana ecosystem, and that would be Samoyed coin. It's in terms of the rank, it's 399, which is pretty far out on the risk curve. It hasn't done a run yet. So this is Sona. I use this to manage my portfolio on the Solana ecosystem. For some reason, which is like some sort of social media platform, it's gone ballistic in the last 24 hours. It's 136% up. But yeah, if you look at its chart, it looks like a meme coin. There you go, up, second peak, down only. So, you know, like that's what these charts generally tend to look like. I think I have some of this somewhere. I have a lot of tokens. But yeah, it seems like what Memecoin has run with Sheeb, because Sheeb right here, as you can see, 34%. Well, for some reason, baby Samoyed has run, and it looks crazy. It looks really bad, down 99%. And here we go. That's its spike up. Meme coins. But anyway, this might keep going. So there's baby Samoyed. If you did get on this, I highly recommend you watch it closely and get the hell out as soon as you get to whatever your target is. But I can't see that Samoyed's run yet, so hey, there's a possibility. We don't know, maybe Samo will run next because it's the top dog of the Solana ecosystem. So I'm not telling anyone to buy this, I'm just saying for some reason, because of the greed, when the greed goes up, so do meme coins, so because I guess there's a bit of a correlation there. And yeah, basically it's sort of kind of one to watch. But by the looks of things, to be honest, the NFTs are a way better investment than buying the coin, but maybe there'll be a correlation there because the NFTs are pretty hot. The coin might get some of that into it, I guess, like ApeCoin, for example, although again, they're building out quite a bit, so I don't think they really count because Put at Your Club, there's so much money in that. So I guess just as a curious little exercise, what happens if Samoyed coin gets the same kind of money thrown at it that baby Doge did? I really can't compare it to Dogecoin or Sheeb because Doge is the OG and Sheeb is actually building out quite a bit, and Samoyed's not really doing anything. Baby Doge isn't really doing anything either, so I guess, yeah, we could look at least from, you could look at like a 343% upside as a potential. I'm not saying this is going to happen, most likely won't happen, but you know, this is kind of like, again, this is the Solana Doge equivalent, I suppose, but yeah, it does have a few extra little bits and pieces. But yeah, the fact that, you know, Shiba Inu has gone absolutely mental, and so has Doge in the last day, tells me that maybe some of these other meme coins might start getting some money thrown at them. So if that's your game, if that's what you're into, then I would be having a look and seeing maybe what you want to get into, but make sure you have an exit plan. Meme coins, you always need an exit plan, otherwise you'll be left holding the bag. Most likely. I mean, what happens with a lot of meme coins is you buy them and then you hold them until they're worthless. So don't be one of these people. Take your profits. So yeah, I guess just to wrap things up about Samo, and you can go and have a look at their medium if you want. I don't want to go into all of the details here because I guess it would take me more time than I wish to give to this, but you can see in terms of the Samoyed NFTs, the floor has been coming up the whole time. Essentially, it hasn't really come down. Doesn't look like a meme coin in terms of the floor price for the NFTs. So that looks like it's doing pretty well. You can see holders are on the rise in terms of Memecoin. So even though the price has been coming down, people are still buying it. Lots of different wallets, I guess that would be. So there's some people who are keeping an eye on it, and I would say, like, I have some personally. Mine is sitting in a friction vault, earning yield. Well, only if you look at this, I suppose, which is the estimated yield that they will give you. And then after fees is 24.2%. Yeah, that would be pretty good. But it looks like we had a major malfunction here where a strike price was very poorly picked by the algorithm. And we had a massive in the money call, which basically caused a 26% loss. Wow, that's pretty extreme. I don't know if how long that will take to come back. But anyway, that's where I put my Samo. Maybe you don't put it here. In my next video, I'm going to cover more information about friction and some vaults that they have coming up. The vault number 5, and I'm also going to talk about the Hubble protocol. So if you're interested in that on the Solana ecosystem, then check that out. But I will wrap this video up for now because it's gone on for long enough. Bitcoin seems to be making its way up to the 28k region, I guess, very slowly but surely. And yeah, as I mentioned, I feel like maybe we might get some small move to the downside first. I don't know if we'll get a massive capitulation down, but at least some sort of small correction, possibly. But there's a chance that we don't do that at all and things just keep running up. But me personally, I'm keeping my eyes on this whale versus retail delta. Looks like this move is being heavily shorted because, yeah, if I look at this, I am seeing a breakout of the 200 period moving average on the 5 minute. So there you go. Things got overly bearish for a bit. Usually when the funding, because I did a video on this in the past, but when funding flips negative, often there could be some small short-term long setup coming. So yeah, we had like here, flip down, and then we broke out above the 21 period on the 5 minute, held that as support, broke out the 200 period on the 5 minute, held that as support. That would have been probably a good long entry to the upside, basically, 3% move up. And then yeah, we had the same sort of deal here. Things were overly bearish. We were just kind of dancing around the 21 period, bounced off the 200, came back above, held a support, bounced off 200 again, and then maybe you went long here, but that would have just been a scalp essentially. And then back down, here we are short again, well below the 200 and the 21. Okay, so skirting and dancing around it, and then basically, here we are again, trying to push back up. So good on Bitcoin, and it looks like the Asian market is leading this little rally, which is interesting. So I guess they want to get on the action. But yeah, we'll see how long or how far this goes. We don't really have a lower high to work with. We've just got kind of this line here for now. So maybe we go back up to here, come back down. I'm not really sure. We'll see what happens. There's quite a bit of open interest opening up now though. We have a look here on a higher time frame. You can see open interest has been building up for a fairly lengthened period of time. Open interest just basically means how many longs and shorts, how much money is in the perpetual contract side of things. So like leverage positions a lot of the time, stuff like that. So the higher this is, the more wild and erratic the price can get. So as we can see here, we had a massive flush out from this big drop. Basically, as we are very well aware, this was when Bitcoin went down to 17.5. But then basically, here we are slowly climbing back up. More and more leverage is entering the market, which means we're going to get some probably more erratic price moves, essentially. Bitcoin's doing pretty well, actually. It looks like things are moving up. So yeah, that's cool. I guess we'll see how this rally goes, but I still suspect a move to 28Ks on the cards. I don't know if we get a little pullback first to maybe... That was the sound of my short closing. So, in profit. But I moved my stop loss down to structure. And it looks like Solana's going back up, which is pretty cool. So, I will look at setting up a long now. I think for that. Let's see if I missed my opportunity. Not yet. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I'm going to do a couple more day trading videos shortly and cover more Solana stuff. Wow, that's crazy. It's going up. So if you made it this far, thanks for sticking around to the end. Please remember to leave a like on the video. Feel free to leave a comment down below and hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with what I'm doing. And yeah, check me over on Twitter. Link is in the description below to get more regular updates on what I'm doing if you want to know. So that's it for today. Now it's time to watch and see how far this little pump goes. So this is Cryptolytics signing out. Take care, all the best, and have a good one.